Welcome back, everybody. My name is All Funny Games. I stream every day on Twitch TV, and I also make fun little videos here on YouTube. Let's step into part 2 of our pets, shall we? Okay. So previously on my other video, I just showcased that you can make pets. I've had a few people talk about, oh yeah, can you make pets in DSD? What do they do? What don't they do? Well, technically, they don't really do anything. And let's talk about why that's a problem, shall we? Alright, so originally in Don't Starve Together, they gave you the little critter pet den, which you can actually take and make things like a Vargleen, and you have different skins for these, and so on and so on, and depending on what type of little animal you want to get, there's more and more and more to get, especially recently with the most recent Oni update. They actually released the idea of getting a Puffed, which releases little farts and stuff like that. So yes, cute and interesting and whatever else you might want to consider. The problem is pets don't really do anything at all. So why are they even here, and are they more of a nuisance than they used to be? Yes. So let's talk about that. Back in 2017, when I used to play Don't Starve Together, these little pets were basically found everywhere. It was pretty hard to find somebody that wasn't walking around with a little pet Vargleen next to them. As time went on, I found that less and less people use them, and now I don't see anybody using them. The reason for this is because pets started getting in the way. You'd be in the middle of doing something and pets basically would lose the ability to actually get out of your way when you're going to place down a chest or just place anything on the ground. Not only that, they don't really do anything other than, I guess, if you have a Mothling that is from the lunar biome, which of course you need a flower salad and one moon moth, which is captured, which will give off a smidge of light. So, if we decide that we want to actually get ourselves a Mothling, how good are these? And obviously, is there any really use behind them? So let's talk about that, shall we? Sure, we have a little Mothling. I get rid of my little tiny thing, and I'm going to walk over here into the darkness, and it will, of course, give me a smidge of light. Enough to basically keep me from getting damaged by Charlie. So sure, that is one little piece of the puzzle that might make it worth actually getting a pet. And I'll be honest, it's not that bad, right? It's a permanent thing that cannot die, and no matter what it does, it'll stay with you forever until you decide to abandon it, or if you decide to obviously wake it up and right-click it and say see you later, which is how you abandon them. But as for the rest of them, they don't really do anything. Of course, the Vargleen, and you have the Kitty Cat, you have the Glom Glom, you have the Giblet, and you have the Peeper, you have the Ewlette, and I believe the Broodling gives you a smidge of, obviously, heat. But aside from that, they should really do a lot more. Recently, a game called Core Keeper had a pets update, and it made me think, where the heck is the update for pets in Don't Starve Together? And I have no clue. I put in multiple recommendations to have pets obviously manipulated and to actually have a reason to make them, because right now there's no reason to spend all that time getting a pet only to have it scream in your ear every time it gets hungry. How is that a benefit to actually have? It kind of goes only so far, and you can't say, oh, because pets are cute, they're worth having. No. In Don't Starve Together, your main objective is survival, and when you put that aside, really having a pet next to you that all they need to do is eat consistently really takes and puts a little bit of a damper on the situation that is at hand of you trying to survive. So especially if you're a new player in Don't Starve Together, you really don't want to have a pet basically following you around that only wants you to feed it periodically, and otherwise it does absolutely nothing. To me, that's kind of a waste of time. So, what could Clay do to make pets better? Well, previously I made a video showcasing everything that I think pets should have, and let's kind of revisit that real quick, but in more of a very quick format because I don't think it's worth their time and I don't believe that Clay's going to watch this video. However, all I can do is comment a little bit and talk about why I believe it should happen. So, for example, give perks for individual little tiny pets. This is something to keep in mind, that these pets cannot die. The worst thing you can have is actually have it where pets can perish and die. People are not going to like that, especially if they have a little cat that just falls over sideways. They're not going to enjoy that to happen. So what can we do? Well, we can do things like, for example, like this. You can have the Vargleen give you an attack bonus. You can have the cat give you a speed bonus. You can have the Mothling stay as is. I'd probably change that just a smidge. You can have Glommer give you some sort of a sanity boost, although I probably wouldn't recommend that. The Giblet, you can have something where maybe it does something to specific with gobblers where you can have them follow you around. I don't even know. Just overall, just think about different things. In my previous video that I made, of course, I went more in depth and actually came out with individual things. For example, the Broodling already has perks. The Mothling already has perks. The Eulette, pretty much, as far as I know, does nothing. And the Peeper, as far as I know, does nothing. But changing up all the perks to make it better would actually make it more reasonable and more understanding. For example, Broodling, Heat. The Eulette, you can maybe shave it periodically to eventually get 1 or 2 pieces of wool, or long hair, or whatever they decide to do. The Peeper, you can have it where periodically it decides to drop a piece of milky white. This is not that bad. This pig, however, is causing me grief. So let's go ahead and kill this real fast. Now, going through the list of different types of things that all of these pets can do obviously brings me to different ideas of more things that Don't Starve Together that I can think of that need to have a change that haven't been changed in a very long time. But continuing down the list, shall we? Giblet. Of course, it's a little tiny little chicken. Maybe we give it the ability to actually drag out a few gobblers that might be hiding in your bushes and potentially give you more reasons for more gobblers to show up. Or perhaps they make it so birds no longer fear you. Or maybe it picks up seeds periodically when you're walking around, or even drop seeds of different kinds. Perhaps you can have it where you feed a seed and you get a chance to actually have it drop another seed. I don't know, something along those lines. Glom Glom can give you a small bit of sanity, just enough to make it not too crazy compared to an actual Glommer. Kitty Cat might have the ability to pick up items around you, or have 1 or 2 inventory spots that let your cat hold things for you periodically. Your little Mothling could do exactly what it does, look cute, and maybe even land on your shoulders periodically from time to time, and maybe have the ability to obviously continue just glowing around you. Vargling, I would enjoy something where the Varg actually adapts to different changes of temperature, winter, summer, and autumn, and just goes off by that, which makes the Vargling probably one of the most sought after little pets that could ever happen. So for example, maybe in the wintertime, it can't do anything, but it might be keeping you a little bit chilly or something like that. Let's not talk about that, because that's probably one of the worst ideas. Overall, I think the Vargling should probably give you an attack bonus. I meant inside the winter, it won't make you chilly. I meant that it would change its form to be a winter Varg, summer Varg, and then of course in autumn. Now, if we decide to give it its perks and all that other stuff, it might not be the best, but overall just give it something that is different than what it is right now, which is absolutely nothing. I think that pets have been sitting here for so long and Don't Starve Together with nobody really caring about them anymore, and I rarely see somebody going out of the way to get a pet. Yes, if you have a world that's over 1,000 days in DSTU, chances are you're probably going to get yourself a little kitty cat to sit next to you and accompany you on your journey. But other than that, I don't think many people are going out of your way to get a pet. This is why pets need a huge change in Don't Starve Together, and I hope they're coming soon. I don't think it would take much time for Clay to say, you know what, let's make it so every time that somebody gets a Varg, they now have a 10% bonus damage. Now we have a cat, and the cat will go out and fetch things around you and deliver them to your character. That's not that hard, in my opinion. I really don't think it is. I say that, of course, with a grain of salt. I know things are tough, and I know that just asking Clay to actually do something where it gives you a little bit of a buff for each character might not be, the easiest thing in the world. But I do think it is something to highly consider, as pets have kind of gone to the wayside, and it sucks that it actually happens because they're so darn cute. So you tell me in the comments what you think. Should pets stay the same? Should they change? I don't know. Perhaps if this video gets a ton of likes, maybe we can wake Clay up and they'll wake up tomorrow, get their coffee and go, you know what? Today's the day that we change some pets. So let's make this video have as much interaction as we can. You tell me what you think about pets and we'll take it from there. Thanks again for watching, and let's hope that pets get a change.